Hello, I'm Tim Harris. This is Julie Harris, and this is Real Estate Coaching Radio.
That's right. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for popping by. Hit that like button, and don't forget to leave your comments and questions so we can get right back with you.
We will. Thank you for continuing to make our podcast, Real Estate Coaching Radio, the #1 listened to podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. And let us know what you think about this video. Leave your comments below. Thank you.
3, 2, 1, and we're back. Julie, we're doing today's show on choosing a real estate broker.
Yes, it's an important question.
It is, because this time of year is when most agents are in the process of evaluating their brokers to decide whether or not they want to stay at their present situation.
Certainly.
Or they're looking for a broker upgrade. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through 15 must-ask questions that every agent should be considering when choosing a broker. A lot of times, or at least traditionally, a lot of agents have chosen their broker just on the location, their office is nearby, all the rest of it. But the simple fact is all the rules have changed because of this market. And unfortunately, a lot of brokers that are, in the brokering business now are no longer going to be viable or frankly won't be viable in the next 6 to 12 months. A lot of, I would say, consolidation is happening in the real estate brokerage business. So what we're going to do is we're going to take you through a list of questions that you should be asking of your broker. If you're a new agent, use these as a filter. Actually ask these tough questions. Or if you're an existing agent and you're looking for a broker upgrade, obviously these questions will get your brain working in the right direction.
That's right. So what questions should you ask when choosing a real estate brokerage? Here are the questions, as well as why we chose EXP Realty. We can put our license anywhere. In no way is this a comprehensive or one-size-fits-all list of questions. These questions are designed to fine-tune your thought process so that your brokerage choice is in alignment with your personal goals and your ambitions.
So I added that section there. So here, I'm going to start out, Julie and I like to start out our podcast with a little bit of a mindset, question. And so let's start out with this. Now, this is going to be what will be probably one of the toughest years in real estate.
For sure.
For sure. So, the very fact, it's kind of interesting. I was having a conversation with a team that was going to close like $130 million this year.
Nice.
And they're all like bummed out because last year they only closed $130 million.
Right.
In other words, their business was flat. And I had to explain to them that in their marketplace, we did some homework. In their marketplace, the overall market was down like by 20%.
Yeah, so they're really killing it.
They're killing it.
Yeah.
And they didn't think like that. So that when you're doing the same as you did last year, big teams, and your market is down, you actually are ahead of the curve. So good job, go you.
Yes.
But here's some questions I have. So in the last 12 months, and just think about these questions. And by the way, you can use these questions to frame just about anything in your life. It's kind of interesting. But in the last 12 months, what are the 2 or 3 things that you're most proud of having accomplished in your real estate business, just to focus it in? So what are the 2 or 3 things? Using the example I just gave you, how about just the very fact that you sold what you did the previous year? But come up with what you are most proud of having to accomplish. Maybe you're a new agent and you just got your real estate license. Well, that would be something to be proud of. But what are the 2 or 3 things? Now, I want you to write those things down, and they have to be tangible. They can't just be anything that starts with working on, for example.
Or tweaking.
Exactly. You have to have said, I took my first listing, or I sold my first $1 million house, or I made $400,000 for the first in income, that. What are the things this year that you're most proud of having accomplished? Please try to come up with 2 or 3 things. Now, the next question I have, and then we're going to get to the first of the 15 questions, is 12 months from now, what are the 2 or 3 things you want to be proud of having accomplished in the prior 12 months? So I'm asking you to look behind, and I'm asking you to put yourself into the future, and then take and ask yourself, what is it 12 months from now that you want to actually have accomplished that you're going to be really proud of? And again, keep it practical. Don't say things that are going to be like, I made a website, or I worked on my brand, or I did some marketing. Actually have some real tangible results. I listed 10 houses. I sold 100 homes for the first year. I actually saved $100,000 or $1 million or whatever it actually is. But write those things down. So what are you proud of having accomplished in the last 2 or 3 things in the last 12 months? And then 12 months from now, when you're listening to this podcast again, because we're probably going to be talking about this very topic next year at the same time, what are the things that you're most proud of having accomplished in the prior year, the 2 or 3 things? It's important that you think like that because you're holding yourself accountable to real, tangible, practical results in your real estate business. Otherwise, you're never going to move the needle. You're never going to actually progress and move forward and advance yourself. So as we go through these questions, hopefully I helped you mentally and emotionally frame yourself so that in the future, by 12 months, the 2 or 3 things are going to be things that are truly high points in your career.
That's right. And you will want to be taking some notes and writing down your personal answers as we go through these questions. Tim got you started with some mindset questions. So now, official point number 1, is your income flat or in decline? Do you feel like the best days of your real estate career are behind you, or are they still ahead? That's also a mindset question, isn't it? That kind of gets to, like, are you thinking positively about your future or negatively? And how does your income reflect that? Is it flat or in decline?
Well, also that goes to the environment of your office too.
Absolutely, it does.
Or frankly, the environment, your environment actually has to do with many, many different things, but your physical environment, obviously, but also sort of your headspace environment. So a lot of you don't have offices anymore. I mean, I don't even know why a real estate broker would have a physical location. Doesn't even make sense.
Sure.
So let's set that aside. You then have replaced the old, exchange, the communication and the interaction with other humans that would have maybe 20 years ago happened in an office. Now it happens on Facebook, or it happens in WhatsApp,
or Zoom or whatever.
So is your environment real or virtual? Is it going to be something that is going to be supportive of you having a fantastic, future, or is it going to be something that's supporting the fact that, oh, you know what, Bob, you had a crappy year, so did everybody else. So yes, the first question is this your income flat or in decline? And if it is, and you'll know hopefully, then, because not all agents know, frankly, how much money they made, but assuming you do, then you're going to start having to be more introspective and say, are you reinforcing your income being on the decline because of the environment in which you're choosing to be?
There you go. Okay, point number 2, or question number 2, are you the best agent in your office and maybe not feeling challenged currently? Well, Tim, why don't I want to be the best agent in my office? That's pretty awesome. I keep on getting the same award year after year.
Well, that's exactly why. Right? I mean, this is an easy, if you're in a small town, this is an easy mistake to make. You might be the big fish in the small pond. And what's going to happen is you're starting to plateau and you're becoming complacent. In other words, you're not really challenging yourself in any way to go to the next level. And the next level is waiting for you. It has been your whole entire life. And by the way, the level after that and after that and after that are also there waiting for you. So if you're in an office, or frankly, again, in your environment, notice how these are environmental type questions, guys, and you're not feeling challenged, and you keep on winning Agent of the Month every single month, and you've got so many plaques and trophies, you don't even know where to put them, it's probably time for you to have a broker upgrade.
There you go. All right, point number 3 is the environment at your current brokerage, again, online and off. Is it negative in nature? Are your colleagues, broker, or office manager too negative and killing your motivation? Do they just talk about how tough the market is? Is the fear meter pegged because the brokerage is clearly lost in this new market? It might not be you. Maybe it's them.
Well, that goes to what we talked about on the show yesterday. If you find yourself in an environment where you're surrounded by people that have only sold real estate in the last 15 years, being managed by people that have only sold real estate in the last 15 years, none of the people that you're surrounding yourself with know what to do in a marketplace like this, because they've only sold in one kind of market, which is an ever-increasing seller's market. That market is gone. It's not going to come back anytime soon. We're in this adjustment phase, which is frankly the most challenging because you're being forced to learn new skills quickly. And if you take too long to learn those new skills, you're not going to last in real estate. That's just the reality. The new agents, well, not just new as in brand new in the industry, but the new leaders in the industry are the ones that are embracing this market, loving the fact that they can actually finally separate themselves from the herd based on what they know and then how they apply what they know, helping buyers or sellers.
Yes, well put. Point number 4, does your brokerage require you to attend just too many mandatory meetings or other time-consuming, non-dollar productive activities? Sometimes our heart's in the right place, and sometimes some of it's pretty good, but a lot of times it's just time-wasting filler, which takes you away from what your goals are and where you should be spending your time. So are you just wall-to-wall appointments that are not actually, dollar productive appointments going to all those meetings? You can step away from that. It's not how it is everywhere.
And by the way, yes, as Julie said a second ago, Julie and I are proudly associated with EXP Realty. EXP Realty is the brokerage that is the next natural step for all of you. And we would love the opportunity to earn the right to be your sponsors at EXP Realty. And you can do that 2 very simple ways. Actually, I'll even make it 1 simple way. Just text me directly at 512-758-0206. 512-758-0206. Or you can go to whylibertas.com, and it's W-H-Y, Libertas, Libertas.com. But the simplest way is just to text me at 512-758-0206. Look, the simple fact is that all of you are looking for to upgrade your brokerages, because frankly, many of your brokerages aren't in a position to transition through this crazy, market. There's no two ways about it. You can tell when you're talking to the broker or the office manager and you're in the environment. You can, trust your intuition. Chances are you're on a sinking ship. That's the reason that EXP Realty in this market, listeners, is growing, adding agents. Is actually the only publicly traded brokerage, as far as I know, that's actually making a profit. Because agents, individual agents, teams, large brokerages, huge brokerages are all migrating over to EXP Realty because they simply have a superior business model. There are emulators out there. There are copycats out there. But when you actually compare what they're offering versus what EXP is offering, it's obvious that obviously EXP is the next natural course and decision for all of you. So Julie and I strongly encourage you to move forward to EXP, and we would love the right to earn, we would love to be able to earn the right to be your sponsors. And just text me directly at 512-758-0206.
So question number 5, does your broker or office manager shoot down every idea that isn't super traditional activity or isn't in their personal wheelhouse? Do they have little or no tech support? If your brokerage isn't 100% online and doesn't have its own metaverse, how will the next generation of buyers even perceive that brokerage? Most importantly, how will they perceive you? Little known fact is a lot of these older school brokerages where, if we're being honest, the broker's kind of maybe already retired but not admitting to it. Some of them are deciding after this tough year if they're even going to go into next year. Well, some of them are going to get out of it.
They're all moving over to EXP anyway.
It just makes sense, right?
That's what's happening.
They might not be talking to everybody about it, but it's definitely happening.
Well, it's because most brokers, here's a little known fact for you guys. This is scary and sad, but true. Most brokers are making absolutely no money right now. They're barely making any money whatsoever from their own personal transactions or from mortgage and title. Most brokerages out there are, I'm going to say it again, are making very little, if any, profit at all. In the best of times, most brokerages, it's a tiny margin business, are making less than 2.5%. So in the best of times, I'm going to say that again, just so you can wrap your mind around it, most brokerages are making less than 2.5% profit. And obviously in a market like this, those profit margins have been eviscerated. So that's the simple fact. The old joke is being a broker just makes you broker. Matter of fact, I'll even take it to the next level. Julie and I have, for the last couple decades, have coached a lot of real estate brokers and a lot of real estate teams. And I have yet to find a real estate broker who would not gladly sell their brokerage, even in the best of times. Yep. It's just not a business that's very easy to, frankly, make survive when you're competing against a company like EXP.
Right, which has dramatically, different structures, huge advantages. Okay. Question number 6, do you feel like you're constantly being nickeled and dimed where you are now? Does your broker take a cut out of every source of income, including home warranty sales and processing fees? Doesn't have to be that way.
Well, the nickel and diming even goes worse than that. Are you paying a royalty fee? Are you paying an annual franchise fee? Are you paying, like some of you, I'll be talking with you about EXP and you'll be at, whatever company and you're, proudly telling me you're on some sort of 90-10 split and you've had to be there for 20 years and you're finally on a 90-10 split. But what I know, because I've had hundreds of the conversations, is you're also paying a 6 or 7% royalty fee and you're also paying transaction fees. And if you actually pen it out and you do the math, the amount of money you're paying your brokerage is far more than what you actually think. And this is fascinating. Again, these conversations about EXP I've had with a lot of you individually. What I've learned from doing it is agents really have no clue how much they're paying their broker. Mm-hmm. And if you actually do the math, okay, how many houses did you sell? Add up from the closing statements, how much commission was paid? How much money were you paid? What's the difference? That's your true percent. And some of you guys are in non-capping brokers. You just pay 85-15 forever, or 90-10 forever, or 80-20 forever. You don't even realize how much money you're losing being at the brokerage you're at. The biggest amount of money that I've seen someone save going from their old broker to their new broker was like $430,000.
That's in a year.
In a year. So I did the math, and it was not a very comfortable situation doing the math.
I wouldn't imagine
on this Zoom. Okay, and we penned it out. And the average that from the last 3 years that they paid their broker was over $400,000. And so had they been at EXP during that same 3 years, they would have put in their pocket easily another $1 million.
Right.
Which they then could have invested and could have bought in real estate or could have paid off their house or just all
would
kinds
have had
of
options at least.
Right. People don't know how much they're paying. Even if you're at like a flat fee type broker and you actually do the math, EXP's business model makes better sense for everybody. Even if you're selling really expensive high-end real estate. I had another conversation, actually one of our old coaching clients, oldest coaching client, now that some of you guys have listened to us for a while, know who I'm talking about. And this person is number 3 or 4 at, I think if I remember correctly, it's Berkshire Hathaway, maybe top 5 or 10, I don't remember. I'm not trying to give too much information because they don't necessarily want me to say that they're shopping their broker. Anyway, I did the math for him in particular because he was like, he wouldn't tell me what his split was because he had some sort of great split. He eventually told me. I got it out of him. I did the math, and it was extraordinary. In just the last 10 years, they paid something like $3 million to their broker. And I asked him, so do any of your buyers or sellers actually know, let alone care about what brokerage you're at? And he said, no, they just do business with us because, they do business with us because of us.
Sure.
So why are you spending this much money to be at a brokerage? What are you getting for that? Nothing was the answer. He gets no referrals. He gets no support. They have their own team. They experience all their growth comes from their own, entrepreneurialism.
They're very independent of their broker.
And that's how a lot of these top producing agents are. So the reason that a lot of agents stay put isn't for financial reasons. It's out of complacency, or frankly, they have a sense of loyalty, which I certainly appreciate, but just for the sake of the betterment of your future. Remember I asked you, what are the 2 or 3 things you're going to be looking back upon having accomplished 12 months from now? Well, I would imagine that for the most part, all of you will agree that actually having saved, let alone then invested that savings, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Or millions in the case you just used.
Exactly. Will be something you'll be proud of having actually accomplished. You can sell the exact number of houses you did this year. Just do it again next year and save the difference that you paid your broker and invest that money. So we're not even asking you to work harder, just smarter.
Yeah, there you go. All right, question number 7. Does your broker offer basically zero support just beyond your basic transactions? I have this constantly from new coaching clients coming to us that they just can't get their questions answered. If you're not getting any support, why are you there? Okay, number 8. Does your brokerage have an iBuyer program? We don't talk enough about that, but there's express offers is offered through EXP, and that is not your own money. That is a pool of investors that you can utilize to do your own iBuyer program. We should probably do a whole podcast about that.
Well, so in other words, you walk into a listing and let's say Mr. Seller might be considering an offer from an Open Door or whoever, or an offer from a local investor. Let's just use the local investor as the example. And then the local investors offered them, 75 cents on the dollar. You then, and let's say the house needs some work, and it might be the best path for the seller, but you can give the seller, when you're with EXP, option A. Option A is we retail the house, and this is what it'll sell for. This is the range of what you'll net. Option B is I will actually sell the house for you to EXP's investor through their iBuyer program, and you can take that offer. Or, of course, you can always take the offer from the local investor as well. So with me retailing it, you have the best of both worlds. You have the opportunity to make the most from a traditional sale, and if after a certain amount of time you want to hit the escape button, that's fine. We'll then sell it to the iBuyer program.
That's a nice option to have. And, people do take that option out of convenience. You might be surprised how many times it happens.
The next question 9, and this is going to be something that I will talk more about when you guys text me, but does your broker offer revenue share? Very simply put, what revenue share does is it gives you financial freedom. What revenue share can do for all of you, and this is not the focus of our podcast, frankly. Our focus of our podcast is helping you guys get in production and actually sell real estate. But here's what you're going to discover after you've been in the business for a while. You get good at selling real estate, go you. You get good at transacting. You're finally a listing agent. You've got essentially a level of success that you've always dreamed of having. But what you're discovering is the transactional hamster wheel never ends. In other words, you stop transacting, you stop making money. So then you say to yourself, well, I'm going to buy rental properties. Okay, I want you to do the math on buying rental properties. I want you to actually pen it out. If you, let's say you pay cash or you don't pay cash, figure out how many rental properties you have to buy. Figure out how much money you have to even if you're just putting down 20 or 30%. Add all that up. Figure out how long it's going to take for you to have any level of financial independence. In other words, how long will it take for those rental properties to actually produce enough net income per month to make it so that you are rich? Rich is simply where your money works for you and you no longer have to work for your money. The money coming in every month from your rental properties is enough to easily cover all your personal overhead. Now, if you have a very low personal overhead, you can accomplish that relatively quick. I did have a coaching client who, it was one of my happiest days in coaching.
Yeah.
Michael, right? And by the way, did I tell you he moved to the Caribbean?
No.
Okay, so yeah,
I
Michael
didn't know that.
Zawalski. So
Oh
he hired me originally.
That's awesome.
Very strong Polish accent, because he wanted me to coach him how to go out and not build investment properties, but how to be a listing agent and then take the profits from being a listing agent and buy rental properties so that he could live off the cash flow. Now, he had a very low personal burn rate, $5,000 a month or something like that.
Pretty low.
So he was able to accomplish that in less than 2 years. And one of the happiest days of my coaching career was when he fired me as his coach because we had accomplished the goal.
That's awesome.
And he no longer wanted to sell real estate full time. He was now able to basically be financially free.
Yes.
Rich is where your money went. Now, that took him 2 years, and he had a very low personal burn rate, and he had to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. Matter of fact, he was living in one of his doubles with his family. So some of you aren't going to be willing to make those compromises. Again, time's going to pass. You're going to be more transactional. You're going to win more awards. You're going to become the best of the best in selling real estate. But what are you actually doing to produce passive income so someday you don't have to sell real estate anymore? Julie and I have literally dozens of rental properties, and it took us, how long did it take us? It took us almost 20 years to get to the point where those rental properties were enough to cover our personal, not quite 20, like 17 years when we bought our first one.
Yeah, and that's back when houses did not have an average sale price of $400,000 either.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost impossible. You buy a $400,000 house. If you put down, let's say, 50% even, you have a $200,000 mortgage with interest rates like they are, with rents, even with rents like they are, if you actually do the math on it, assuming no vacancies and no repairs, you're probably losing money on that house every month.
Yeah, breaking even would be probably surprising.
We're not saying don't buy rental properties, but what we're saying is the traditional way of creating financial independence for normal people like all of us through rental properties, it doesn't really work anymore. It just doesn't. And now you can buy multifamilies and you can get into commercial investing. You can have limited partners. We can have all those complicated conversations. But revenue share is without a doubt the seventh wonder of the world that's only available, where to be eighth wonder of the world, I don't remember, would only be available for people with real estate licenses. That is a conversation we will have when you text me at 512-758-0206. Point number 10.
Question number 10, does your brokerage provide opportunities to purchase stock or offer stock awards? That's a simple yes or no answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's another example. Colette McDonald, I'll give you an example.
Yep.
We sponsored Colette at EXP over 4 years ago. And Colette is what's called Icon. So I'll explain to you guys what Icon is. This is amazing. All right, so you pay your cap in. A cap at EXP is $16,000. After you cap, if you sell an additional 20 houses or have a total GCI of $500,000, then you qualify for Icon. I'm oversimplifying it, but this is the gist of it. And then you will earn your $16,000 back in the form of EXPI shares. Remember, EXP Realty, the ticker symbol on NASDAQ is EXPI. So then you qualify for Icon. Then you get your cap back in the form of EXP stock. So I remember having a conversation with Colette. So when she started at EXP, the shares were, I think, like $3 a share, something like that. And then at one point they were $150 a share, and now they leveled off between $15 and $20 a share. But she had over $1 million in EXP equity. Now, so think about that.
In less than 4 years.
In less than 4 years. So think about that for a second. She sold real estate. She did what she's always done. She qualified for Icon. She got the cap back in the form of EXPI stock. The EXPI stock made her a single-digit millionaire. Now, that's not, I can tell you about Heath Moulton. Heath Moulton, same situation. His number was over $400,000, and he's in Ankeny, Iowa. A lot of examples of people who are able to take advantage of the Icon program. Now, if you aren't going to qualify for Icon, you can buy EXP stock, EXPI shares at a discount when you have a closing. When you sell your first house, you get EXPI shares. When someone you sponsor sells their first house, you get EXPI shares. Does your broker offer equity in their and can you become an actual owner Oh, by the way, EXP pays dividends too. So you get dividends from the equity that you own that you were awarded that you didn't buy. You following me in all this? Does your broker offer that? I'm guessing no. Question 11.
Question number 11. Does your brokerage provide direct lead generation support? Do they have relocation and you have access to that? It's yes or no. And the answer is yes in both cases at EXP.
EXP was built by Glenn Sanford. Glenn Sanford was without a doubt one of the, I think, best lead generation gurus of his time in real estate. He just was. He had an expansion team. He was able to generate lots of leads to support, agents.
He
in multiple
understands lead
markets.
generation.
Right. So that is the backbone of what EXP is. So if you're looking for a brokerage that's not just going to provide leads, but provide the framework for you to generate your own leads, that's EXP, because EXP is rooted in lead generation. I can't underestimate, or I can't understate the importance of you understanding that. EXP Realty is a real estate brokerage it's focused on real estate transactions and all the rest of it, but the core of it is a lead generation real estate brokerage. Question number 12.
Number 12, is your brokerage constantly focusing on the agent experience, education, and success? The best brokers are in the agent business. Agents are in the housing business. And when I read that point, the number one thing that I think is so many brokerages in the past have said that they're agent-centric, and never in our lives have we experienced something like how EXP handles that, the support, the education, the focus that they have on the agents. They are not just saying that. They actually live it.
How can you prove it? How can you validate what Julie just said is true? It's very obvious. They give you equity in the company. You can buy the stock at a discount. You have a very, frankly, manageable cap. You can earn your cap back. You can get revenue share at EXP. We haven't even talked about the health insurance you can buy through EXP. We didn't really drill down much on any of these points. That is what agent-centric is. Agent-centric is not just a bunch of words,
right,
a part of a mission statement, but what are you actually doing? And one of the things that, again, one of the reasons that Julie and I aligned with EXP back in 2019 was simply for the fact that it was the only brokerage that we ever saw that wasn't just flapping their jaws about being focused on agents. They were actually supporting what they were paying agents to be at EXP. I mean, it's one of the things that Julie and I coined a few years ago. The old question is what are you paying your broker, as in the form of commission splits? The new question should be, what is your broker paying you? That's what EXP is all about. And obviously an incredible environment for doing lots and lots of transactions.
Just a few more questions here. Number 13, what is your legacy? Have you thought about that? Is your brokerage partnering with you to create passive income that can be inherited? Some of you, when you stop doing your next transaction, you are out of business. If you are purely transactional and you're not involved with EXP, that is how it's going to go. You're done, you're out of the business. It's not inheritable. You're out, you're out. Not so with EXP.
Right. So Julie just said it. In EXP, you have revenue share. Revenue share, assuming you were smart and you actually built revenue share for yourself. Revenue share is passive income that comes in every single month. It's not from a real estate transaction that you are directly involved in. It is real estate income from other real estate transactions that was a result of your work recruiting or attracting agents. That money that comes in every single month, you can then leave to your heirs. They have to have real estate licenses. So you can then leave that to a family member, and it can pass from generation to generation to generation as that income continues to build. A lot of you who've been in the business for a long time, who've been up and down the mountain a million times, who are burned out, frankly, a little frustrated from having now to go through yet another real estate setback. I get it. We feel the same way. The only way you're ever going to get off that hamster wheel, the best way, I should say, is if you discover Elon Musk is your long lost uncle.
I don't know. You might check.
I would say that's a possibility.
It's worth looking into.
Okay. Or you're going to buy a bunch of rental properties.
Yep.
Do you have enough time or the ability to earn that much money? I don't know. Maybe you do. It's revenue share. And so when you connect with me directly about Julie and I being your sponsor at EXP Realty at 512-758-0206, I'm going to share with you a video that does a brilliant job, that's the reason I don't even try, of explaining revenue share. But really the bottom line is what revenue share is a proven path for you to create financial independence for yourself and your loved ones, not just for your lifetime, but for generations to follow. That is being truly agent-centric.
Absolutely. Point number 14, is your brokerage international? Well, why does that matter? I have coaching clients that are doing international relocation. They've got referrals, It's pretty exciting. And how many countries are we in right now? It's
24.
crazy. 24
but,
countries.
But here's the thing. In our EXP Realty group, we have easily 1,600 agents in Florida. And I bet you of that 1,600 agents, at least half of those agents are first-generation Americans.
Yes.
And we're licensed, EXP's licensed in the countries in which they come from. So they're getting, you can see how you might not be thinking internationally if you're, like Julie and I, and you're from Ohio and you don't have exposure to a lot of international markets. Well, EXP is in different markets, and you can refer not just your buyers, but you can also get incoming referral leads from those other countries. Because let's say, for example, you have someone in Honduras or someone in France or someone in the UK or someone in one of the other markets the EXP's in. They're going to have a buyer that's moving to the United States, maybe buying a second home, an investment property. You have the opportunity to get that business. But I'll tell you where an EXP Luxury, I think, is intertwined with this too. If I was a upper end agent, you have to be 100% understanding the importance of having being with a brokerage that has an international presence, because your international buyers, your very, very wealthy buyers, they are international already. They own multiple homes. And not just that, they don't think regionally. They think globally. That's
very true.
That's what a lot of money does for you.
Yeah.
So they're going to be buying a house in Tuscany. They're going to be thinking about buying investment properties in India. You don't know. It doesn't matter. Even if you are meeting with that upper end, consumer, and you are then explaining to them that you're associated with EXP, and these are all the different countries that EXP is associated with. These are all the different transactions. I'm not just exposing you to this local market. I'm exposing you, literally, Mr. Seller, to the world. And then obviously EXP Luxury, which wasn't one of our questions, is proving out to be one of the best things that EXP has ever created.
Absolutely. It's a great objection handler when you're interviewing on a luxury listing. What makes you different?
Yes.
Well, we're international, right? So that's a great answer. All right, number 15, are you feeling optimistic and excited to be at your brokerage? Are you truly excited to tell people about your brokerage? Or do you feel like you're part of the next generation of the real estate industry? How excited are you when you think about your brokerage? I think you can tell how excited we are when we talk about EXP.
Well, so this is obviously perfect for new agents. It's obviously perfect for agents that are grizzled veterans, because if you are, I get it. Again, I totally understand. Julie and I have new coaching clients, people that are calling us that are, brokers and teams that are all having the same conversation. I'm not prepared for what's going on in the marketplace right now. Yeah. I didn't think it would last this long. I didn't think the rates would be where they are. I didn't think there would be a lack of inventory. I'm not financially prepared. And a lot of these brokers and these teams have been burning the candle at both ends for so long, they're out of options. The next natural step, the graceful exit from the business model that you find yourself in, I promise you, is EXP Realty. When you text me at 512-758-0206, and my phone number again is down below, just go down below and just text me at 512-758-0206. We'll do the math. I'll have you talk with one of the vice presidents or maybe even the president of EXP. You will sit down with them, probably on a Zoom, and you'll go through all the math of understanding what the real opportunity is for you to move forward. Some of you think that your best days are behind you. That does not have to be true. It does not matter how old you are. It does not matter how experienced or inexperienced you are. The reason that EXP is growing like it is in a market like this is because everyone is looking for a graceful exit. They're looking for the next natural step in their real estate careers. And yes, a lot of them are not coming from, they're coming from licking some wounds, but now they're excited. Now they're really looking, they're not just waiting for the clouds to clear and things to go back to the way they were. They are loving this market. They're embracing it for all it has to offer, because now they're finding themselves in the environment, the supportive environment, essentially the optimistic environment that they've frankly been they've been looking for maybe even their entire careers. That's what's truly exciting about EXP.
Well, the thing is, this year has been hard enough. Why would you stay frustrated? Be excited about where you are. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm so impressed with when I see, the different presentations, even when I see some of the Zoom conversations, is the unbridled enthusiasm, even in a market that has historically had a housing sale crash. People are excited about it, especially going into next year. So I really feel like a lot of agents haven't made the brokerage upgrade to EXP simply because they don't know enough about it. And that's the purpose of our 15-question podcast today, was to help expose you to that. Now, this is just a podcast. We're just getting you to think bigger and to consider these things. Now it's up to you to actually take action on it.
So when you and I started EXP 5 years ago, it was a completely different situation. EXP then was like, 15% of the size of it was. It was in all 50 states, but it certainly wasn't international. All these things have happened in the last 5 years. I cannot imagine in 5 years from now, it's going to be incredible. The largest brokerage in the world, most likely. But right now, there are two types of agents out there. There are agents that are EXP curious, or agents that are frankly looking to land the plane and they're looking for a sponsor. No matter which of the two that you are, because there's not a single person listening right now, especially after 34 minutes, that's not at least EXP curious. Take the next natural step. Learn about why so many agents, and especially in this market, are moving over to EXP. Then you will most likely trip over the fact that it's the next natural step for you as well. And again, we are humbly requesting the right to be your EXP Realty sponsors. It's something we take incredibly serious. So if you are ready to land the plane, we're here for you. If you're just getting started and you're EXP curious, we're here for you. Text me directly at 512-758-0206. I'll text you back a link to a website. You can watch some videos. You can, frankly, get a lot of your questions answered that way. And then what I have found is 70 to 80% of you will be ready to move forward just after you've watched the videos. We are so excited that so many of you are going to be joining us at EXP Realty. It is, without a doubt, I would say, I'm 53, right? So I would say in my 53 years, it's as far as business decisions go, it's definitely one of my top three, the decision I'm most proud of.
Yes, 100% agree.
So answering my own question, like what am I most proud of having accomplished in the last, I'll say even the last 60 months, it was this.
100%.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
The only thing that I kind of regret, not that we have any control over it, was, we've been in this business for basically 30 years. Is that this opportunity wasn't there when we were in the beginning of our career, even the mid-career, because we 100% would have done that. We would have gone to EXP. There's no doubt about it.
We've been in business, coaching agents longer than EXP's been in business.
Yes, that's true.
That. But when EXP started in 2009, basically, during the pits of the last housing crash, which is ironic if you think about it.
Very ironic.
EXP does really, really well when the market's really, really challenging. It's the old thing. I think Warren Buffett said it, when the tide goes out, those who are sleeping or swimming naked are exposed. Well, you're seeing that happening right now in the marketplace. And that's clearly what EXP is designed for and built for. And again, this is the next natural step. This is the thing I mean this, and I want you to really allow this to kind of, soak in. Some of you are feeling like you failed. Some of you, again, are feeling like your best days are behind you. You need to stop allowing yourself to feel that way, because here's two facts for you. Number one, if you're successful in the past, you can be successful again. Number two, there's nothing wrong with you. I can't say that for sure. Some of you there might be something wrong with, but the reality of it is there's nothing wrong with you. You made the most of the past market following the business plan that seemed to work in the past market, as a broker, as a team leader, even as an individual agent. So if you are successful in the past, you will be successful again. And don't allow yourself to feel like a failure because the brokerage model that you were, or team model for that matter, that you were using 24 or 36 months ago isn't working now. Because some business models only work in certain economic climates. So you're not the failure. Your business model just it isn't designed.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable in this market. So be you being successful and get back in alignment with a business model that actually is designed for a market like this. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone.
Yes, and that goes for brokers and teams, and it's all of you guys that are listening. So if you have any questions, don't just hide out. Don't, back burner it. Now's the time to get your questions answered.
512-758-0206. These questions are below in the notes along with my phone number. Do text, do not call. I have my ringer turned off. I will not answer the phone, but if you text me, I will respond. And it will be me. It will not be an AI bot. Though if any of you know how to basically make an AI bot answer all my texts and do a great job, let me know. I'll absolutely use it. But until there's technology out there that does that, it is me. So don't try to quiz me and trying to figure out if I'm an AI bot. It really is me, even if I answer sometimes somewhat mechanically and dry.
For now, maybe future Tim could be
exactly
AI, but for now, it's you.
Yes. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.
Hello, thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right, and don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video, and remember to watch the next one. You're gonna love that one.